Hello fellow Sudokans, welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku Puzzle. It's Monday the 30th of December 2024, if you're losing track of time. There's not much more to happen in 2024, I guess. But just at the end of the year here, we say goodbye to former President Jimmy Carter, who made it to the age of 100. Definitely a good age to make it to. I've said many times on this channel, I don't have I don't have heroes, actually, not political, just heroes in general. You should never have a hero, because all human beings are fallible, all human beings make mistakes. But I think you need to judge a person on their life overall, whether they mostly do things good or mostly do things bad, or they do something so terrible that the good is undone. And no doubt Jimmy Carter made a few slip-ups in life, but overall, the man was a very good person, it seems to me, especially after leaving the presidency, where he really put a lot of effort into helping humanity. While he was president, of course, there was that agreement between Israel and Egypt, I think it was, back in the 70s, I seem to remember. And that was quite an amazing feat at the time. Just to even get small advances in the Middle East was just a huge feat. Peanut farmer, of course. You know, Americans always labeled him as a peanut farmer. Republicans, in a derogatory manner, I think, labeled him as the peanut farmer, like as though he was some kind of, country hick. And of course, with his very southern accent, right? I can't do the Georgian accent, but he was very southern, very, very southern accent. But I think really a good man. You know, on the whole, take the balance of his life. Of course, if you're a U.S. president, that means you have ambition, and that means you have to do some bad things as president. So we have that to consider. But in general, I think a good human being. And so goodbye to Jimmy Carter, and made it to the age of 100, which is definitely a good enough age for anybody to make it to. So shall we get on with our game of Sudoku then? So this is our Monday beginner level game, very basic level. I always explain the rules on Monday, because this game is always at a level that anybody can try, even if you've never played the game of Sudoku before. So a quick rundown of the rules then. By the way, I'm playing the game in the dark here. I started this is the second time I started this game. If I repeat myself on anything, it's because I don't know what I said in the first version, but the light was flickering, and it caused me to switch off the light and then lose track of what on earth I was talking about. So I haven't started the game yet, though. Let's get on. So what do we see here? We see 9 squares stuck together in a row, and there's another 9 squares stuck together in a row, and there also, and then we have 9 squares stuck together in a column, and we see that some of these squares are occupied by digits, and the highest digit that we see is a 9, and the lowest digit that we see is a 1. And then we've got lots of blank squares. So what is the point? What's the objective of the game? The objective of the game is to fill in every empty square with a number. Numbers have to be between 1 and 9. Now I've missed one part of one explanation. Neighbors are chatting and I can't hear myself think. I've missed out one part of my explanation, and that is that we also have these small sections of 9 squares like this, right, where you also have to fill in the blanks. Now, so we've got rows, we've got columns, and we've got blocks or boxes or sections or whatever you want to call them. And they each have 9 squares. Now, we use logic to get the answer to the puzzle. So that means that, for example, in this block here, we already have digit 2 and digit 8. We don't need to find them again. What we need to do is find 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 to fill up these empty squares here. We have a row across here that already has 1, 3, 8, and 9 in it. We're looking for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, to go in these squares here, these empty squares here, right? And then of course, like this, we already have 7 and 9, 7, 9 and 3, so we're looking for the other digits between 1 and 9, but not including these 3 to fit in those squares there. I hope that makes sense. It should do. If it doesn't, we just start playing, because then it will get much easier. So remember, a number can only appear one time in its row or column or block. So for example, here we have 4 empty squares in this block here. We've got 1, 3, 4, 6 and 9. Do we have digit 2? Not yet. There's no digit 2 here. So what do? Well, we look outside this box. Maybe that's where the term comes, think outside the box. We've got a 2 here and we've got a 2 here. Now what do we know? Well, we know that 2 can only appear in this column one time. And we know that 2 can only appear in this column one time. So when we examine this block up here, we see that this square here can't be 2 because of this. And we see that these 2 squares can't be 2 because of this 2 down here. We have this 2 blocking up here, blocking up there, as I call it, blocking. Right, so these 3 squares can't be blue. And guess what? There's only one more empty square, because we've already got 4, 9 and 3 in those squares. So we know that our 2 has to fit there. Is that okay? All right, now let's have a look at this column down here. Now we've got, we don't have a 2 in this column down here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty squares, but we don't yet have a 2. We've got 9, 4, 8 and 7. So let's ask ourselves, can a 2 appear in these squares here? The answer should be no. Now you can see it in one of 2 ways. We've got 2 blocking here and 2 blocking here. But we've got 2 blocking all of these squares. 2 can't reappear in this block down here. So neither of these squares can be 2. We've got a 2 here, and that means because it's in this row already, it means that this square can't be 2 because it's in the same row. And we've got a 2 here that we just placed. And it means that this square can't be 2. So if we look at this column here, there is only one empty square where the 2 can go. It's got to go in that square there. It can't go anywhere else. And that's the kind of thinking you need to do to play this game of Sudoku. So just have to look around the board at likely things, like for example, this block down here doesn't yet have a digit 4. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8 and 9. We don't have a 4. When we look at the surrounding 4s, and if you're playing on a computer, if you have something like this, if you click on a digit and it highlights the other digits, then it makes it a bit easier. So 4 blocks all the way down here, so neither of these squares can be 4. 4 blocks across here, this square can't be 4. And again, we're left with one empty square where the digit 4 must go, can't go anywhere else. Is that okay? In this row across here, we don't yet have, there are 3 empty squares, you see, here. And if we check on what we don't have, let's see, do we have 1? No. 2, 3, 4, okay. 5, no 5. 6, 7, 8, no 8, and 9. So what we know is that the missing numbers are 1, 5, and 8. And that's what goes into these 3 squares, 1, 5, and 8. Okay. Now let's consider... what do we know about 1? Well, 1 could go here or here. That's no good. What do we know about 5? Nothing really. 5 could go in any of these squares. What do we know about 8? Aha, now we see something. 8 blocks this square here. Excuse me. And 8 blocks this square here. And that leaves just this square as the empty square. Like that. Okay. Okay, now I want to move into slightly other ways of thinking. There are 3 empty squares here, and when we look and see what's missing in this block, we notice that the missing numbers are 1, 5, and 6. That's what we need to get. Now, if you happen to see 2 digits that coincide on a single square, sometimes we call these cells, by the way, terminology if you're interested, we can sometimes see 2 digits that hit the same square or cell, and when there are only 3 missing, then we know it has to be the other one. What am I talking about? What I mean is we've got 1 blocking down here like this, and we've got 6 blocking across here like this. So there are only 3 empty squares. 1, 5 and 6 must fit in these 3 empty squares. 1 and 6 mean that this square here can't be 1, can't be 6, must be 5. No, actually we've got 6. You could have seen the 6. You could have started in a different way and found the 6's blocking across like this and got the 6 up there. But it doesn't matter which order you take these things in. And now we've only got 1 number left to get in here, and that's the digit 1. And now we've only got 1 number left back here. If you remember a moment ago I said 1, 5 and 8. And we've got the 1 and 8, so now we know that that's a 5. But you could just search for it again if you've forgotten, and I often forget. We've got 2 blocking down here, that puts 2 into that square, and now we've only got 1 more square for this section, and that's a 1. Getting it? Okay. So we've got a lot of digits filled in down here. We've got 2 empty squares in this column. We should quickly look and see if we can do this. Let's see what we've got. We've got 1, 2, there's no 3, we've got 4, there's no 5. So we know these squares must be 3 and 5. Either this will be 3 and this will be 5, or this will be 5 and this will be 3. But we can't say which is which, so we just have to come back at that from that later. Now what I usually do is if I see 3 empty squares like this, I'm going to work out what they are and see if we've got anything that can help us from up here. So we've got 2, 3, there's no 4, 5, 6, 7, yes, and no 8. So what are we missing? We're missing 1, 4 and 8 in these 3 squares for this row. 1, 4 and 8 is what we need. Now as I said, if you see 2 numbers that are in a line, let's say row or column, we've got 4 and 8, so we know that this square here can't be 4 and can't be 8, but there's only one other number for these 3 here, so that has to be a 1. Oops, sorry, sometimes I have the wrong mode selected. So that's a 1 that goes in that square there, and we know that 4 and 8 are here. Can we get the 4 and the 8? No, we can't, not yet. Excuse me, getting messages. Right, and let's see what fits in here. So when we look across, now there's 2 ways. We know this is 4 and 8, so you could work out what's missing from this block, not including 4 and 8. Or you could just look across the top here and see what's missing in these 3 squares across here. It's the same. You'll find it's the same numbers. So what is missing is 3, 5 and 9. That's what we need to fit here, 3, 5 and 9. Now can we do anything about that? We've got a 3 up here. We've got a 9 up here, but they're not in the same column, so it doesn't help us. So we know that 3s are there, we know that 9s are there, but 5s are anywhere there. So we can't find what goes in any of those squares just yet. What's our next move? Well, there are only 3 empty squares in this column. Let's see what's missing. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5, we don't have 6, we don't have 9. Can we get anything there? Well, we've got 6 blocking here, so we know that 6s are there. We've got 5 blocking there, we know that 5s are there, but we don't know anything about the 9. Could go in any of those squares, so that's not good enough for us just yet. So we need to move somewhere else. Let's see what we've got over here. We've got 3 empty squares in this column here. We've got 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 and 8. It means the missing numbers are 3, 7 and 9. And again, we can't find that out, so that's no good. You may be thinking, what is he doing? Why doesn't he know the answer? The reason I don't know the answer is because I haven't played this game before starting the video. I don't work them out ahead of time or anything like that. What we can say is we've got 2 blocking across here, 2 blocking across here, and 2 up here. That's going to give me a 2 in that square there. Now we've also got 2 blocking across here and 2 blocking across here like this, and that gives me a 2 there. And now that's the final digit 2. So you'll notice every row has digit 2, every column has digit 2, and every block has digit 2. So there are no more to find. We can eliminate digit 2 from our thoughts. We don't have to worry about it anymore. It's done. It's gone. Excuse me. What else do we have? We've got 8 blocking across here and 8 blocking across there. That's going to give us an 8 in that square. And if you don't see anything obvious, if you are playing on a computer... okay, so no, in this block here now, we're missing 3 digits. We're missing 3, 6, and 9. Now I can see that the 6 blocks from up here and the 6 from down here blocks that square, so we know that that is going to be a 6. And that will leave us with 3, 9. Now I can see the 9 blocking down here, that's going to put the 9 here, and the last digit here is a 3. Then we've got 3 blocking down here and across there, and that's going to put 3 into that square. And now the missing digits in this row are 5 and 9. Now in fact we have a 9. Now because in the past we had 9 in 2 of those squares there, but now we can see that because we already have a 3 here, we can put 9 in that square there. And we know that this is going to be a 5 to finish this row. And when we look at this column here, we see there's just one empty square, and that is going to be a 5 also. Alright, I'm trying to guide you where to go next, but I actually don't know myself. Trying to not do anything technically difficult as well, because it is a beginner level Sudoku, and I want to make sure that I don't talk about anything that's too tricky. So let's click on the digits and see. So if you're using a computer, it's kind of an aid. Because if you click on a digit and it highlights all of the other numbers, then it often helps you to follow the numbers along. Don't need to click on 2s, we've got that already. It's not cheating, but it's a bit of an extra help. And you can use it or not use it. So I can see something. No, it's not really gonna do anything. Okay, excuse me. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find things that, that will help you here. Right, we've got 4 blocking up here and 4 blocking across here, right? Damn. I was about to say that means 4 can go in one of these 2 squares, but in fact it can't, because I've got 4 down here. So in fact we know that 4 has to be in this square here. But imagine, just imagine, right? 4 blocks up here, and imagine this. I can't see this 4 down here because I didn't see it actually. So that would mean hypothetically that 4 could fit in one of these 2 squares. Now it wouldn't matter which one of these 2 squares it fit in. It would still, either one, it would still block across here like this. So we know that none of these squares over here can be 4. I've also got 4 blocking across here like this, and we've got 4 blocking up here. And that will give us the 4 in that square. As it happens, I can do even better than that because I missed the 4 from down there. But I hope you see what I mean by that. There are 3 empty squares in this row. What is missing? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5. We don't have 6, and we don't have 7. So that's what we know goes there: 5, 6, and 7. So if you notice that the 5 and the 7 are in the same column, we know that this square can't be 5, can't be 7, and therefore must be a 6. That leaves 5 and 7 over here. Now sometimes we can get this, but at this particular juncture we can't, so we'll just have to leave that and come back later. So let's hit these numbers like this and see if we spot anything else. Yep, we've got 5 blocking up here, 5 blocking up here. That's going to give us 5 in that square there. 5 going across here and 5 up here means that that is a 5. And let's see what's missing here now. So we're looking for 7 and 8 for this block. Any help on 7 or 8? Surprisingly, no, not yet. Okay. Can we do anything else with the 5s? No, we can't. We can see where 5s have to go. 5s will be in... There are 2 more 5s to get. Either we have 5 in this square and this square, or we have 5 in this square and this square. But we don't know which ones just yet. Ah, excuse me, I've just realised there's 1 empty square in this row, so that's where we need to go next, and is a 7. I was clicking on the 7s, I just noticed that. Many of you will have noticed before I did, so that's good for you, well done. Okay, so we have 9 blocking up here and 9 blocking down there. That gives me 9 in that square there, and we have 9 blocking across here and 9 blocking up there, means that that's a 9, and then 9 blocking up here and 9 across here, and 9 is now like 2. In other words, it's finished. There are no more 9s to find on this board. We've got all of them. So we can go back to 1 and see if we spot anything else, like the 1 blocking up here, which gives me 1 in that square there, and then 1 blocking across here and 1 blocking up here and up here. It gives me a 1 there. Now I happen to remember that before we had 5s in these squares like this, right? 5s. So I'm going to examine that again. So we've got 5 blocking across like this and 5 blocking up here like this. So there's only now 1 possibility, and as I say, I knew that 5 was in those squares there, and then I said 5 in these squares. Now, of course, we know 5 can't go down there. 5 has to be in this square. And if you're not sure, we can see 5 blocking like this. My neighbours are chatting about, not talking about me, talking about my house. Okay, now we can get this empty square here. How do I know we get it? Because we can just decide which 2 digits go here. Whether we can find them or not doesn't matter. We know that there are only 2 possible numbers that fit here, and this will be the other number. So let's see what we've got. We've got 1, 2, there's no 3, 4, 5, there's no 6. So this has to be 3 and 6. Now whether we can get them or not is unimportant. We know that this is 3 and 6. So in this block here, the only other number which is not 3 or 6 is 8. In fact, we can get them because the 6 blocks across here. We can put the 6 in here and we can put the 3 there, but that's not what I wanted to demonstrate. 3 blocks across here, there's a 3. Excuse me, this is a 7. 7 blocks across here, there's the 7. And the last number for this section here is 8. 8 blocks all the way to the bottom, there's an 8. Missing number here is 4. 4 blocks up here, 4 blocks across there. There's our 4, and that's finished. And there's only 1 empty square down here now, and that is going to need a 6. That's the only missing number for this column. So we put our 6 in there and 6 blocks across here, and that gives us 6 in that square there. Now there's only 1 more number to get here. That's a 3. Let's put that 3 in. We've also got 3 blocking up here, which puts the 3 there. Or you can look down and see the missing digit from this column, you'll get the same thing. For example, here, this column and this block have one number missing, but it will be the same number. It's got to be a 1. And 1 blocks across here. So there's our 1. And the last number to place is a 7. And that's your first ever beginner level puzzle finished, over and out. And if you want to practice some more, and you should, there are lots and lots of easy level puzzles on this channel. So click on the playlist for easy games. Thank you. Bye bye.